Hi. So today I thought I would just do a bit of a, hopefully quite quick, pretty simple. This is my sort of everyday makeup, I guess. This is what I try and time to do when I'm running late for work, which is, for anyone who knows me, all the time. And I basically have to do my makeup on the train, which is all of 22 minutes from home to Victoria. So starting off with, and this is a step I sometimes do, sometimes not. I think it depends how much foundation, how much moisturizer and stuff I've got on beforehand, because definitely now that I'm in my late 30s, the most important thing for me now is the skincare I put on before I even start doing foundation. You know, when I was younger, I could pretty much slap foundation or whatever I was wearing on top of pretty much naked skin and it would still look nice and smooth and would last all day. Now, for sure, if I don't have all of the moisture stuck on my face with you know, serums and moisturizers, and I can do obviously a different video on what my sort of skincare side of it looks like. Then yeah, it just doesn't last. It doesn't look very nice. So anyway, because I put my moisturizer on a while ago, actually today, I'm just starting off with some primer just to sort of help get some moisture into the skin. First of all, this is one I'm actually really enjoying. It came in a beauty advent calendar this year. It's by a company called Avant, and it's the Pro Collagen Isododecane Trolamine Prophyleptyl Caprylate Steareth 21. Essentially a pro-perfecting collagen primer touche éclat. I mean, that anyone who wants to find that in a shop, good luck to you, but it is really nice. I've been using it for about 3 weeks now. Foundation goes on nicely over it. It's nice and moisturizing. It hasn't caused any breakouts or reactions, anything like that. So let that just dry for a couple of seconds. I probably should let it dry longer, but I never have time. Then onto base. So I always tend to mix my bases just because I really like a glowy base. This is just me. I know lots of people prefer more of a demi matte or full matte. I do think now, again, in late sort of 30s, matte is a hard look to pull off. I think most people probably would say that. So anyway, my foundations tend to change all the time because I sort of mix them. I kind of make up what I like. But at the moment, what I'm putting on pretty much every day is it went TikTok viral for a reason, I think, the L'Oreal Glotion. And I literally put like a pea-sized amount. You can probably also will tell I never have anything like palettes. Oh, drop that. So it's always on the back of the hand. And then what I'm also loving at the moment is the Revolution Skin Silk. And I'm a bit late to the game with this because I think it came out like a year ago and everyone raved about it. But yeah, I never tried it. I picked it up the other day in Boots and really enjoying it. So I wear it in the shade F7. So again, I've just put on like another sort of pea-sized amount on top of the first one, and then I just mix them together. Just for me, it kind of thins out the foundation because I don't really like a full coverage look, and the Glotion kind of just sort of works as a thinner and a sort of brightener. And then I just kind of smear it all over my face. I'm not particularly artful with this, just kind of where I sort of roughly, because I do it all the time, I sort of know the amount that works for my face. And then I'm a brush person. I used to be fingers, as they say. I then went through a sponge period. I'm now fully on brushes. I love like a sort of slanted flat brush. I don't know what you call them. This particular one's Doll Beauty, which I get off the TikTok shop, which I like a lot of things in my life. And then, yeah, I just kind of smear it on. I remember watching someone once who said, and it never really occurred to me, and then totally, once she said it, made total sense. She was like, be gentle with your skin. You know, some people, when they're putting on foundation, like really swirl it around, slap it on, etc. She was like, why? Be nice. You know, I'm doing quite light brush strokes, always down, you know, the little micro hairs on your face, or the macro hairs on your face, if you have big hair, they grow downwards. So always go down, because then you're just kind of making it look as smooth as possible. If you start going upwards or round and round, it kind of doesn't, on my skin anyway, just doesn't look quite as nice. This was a bit, annoys me, because obviously having a nose stud, I either don't get foundation around it or I get it all over it, and have to remember to clean it off, otherwise it looks gross. But yeah, anyone who doesn't have that won't be a worry. And as you can see, I'm always gonna, for some reason I always go from the chin up. Again, I'm not quite sure why, but I just feel like it's what gives me the most kind of natural look. And I also, if you notice, try and avoid the under eye area as much as possible, like the actual kind of shadowed bit, just because I'm going to put concealer on and I don't want to have too much product sitting under my eyes. So I'll do my lids and stuff, but not the under eye. Okay, that's pretty much what that looks like. Then I'm a contour fan and a bronze fan. You try and chisel these little fat cheeks as much as possible. So at the moment, again, I use different ones of these all the time, but I am loving at the moment, and again, probably quite late to the game, the Maybelline 4-in-1 Perfector. Now this is in 04 Deep, which obviously, you know, you can buy this at I have got this in a lighter colour, which is more my skin tone, which I use a bit like a sort of Charlotte Tilbury Flawless Filter dupe. But I really like this as a bronzer. It's quite forgiving as well, because it's quite sheer, so if you do go a bit over the top, which it looks like I might have done today, the more you blend it, the more it kind of, yeah, you can get it to go down. So again, brush wise, these are more TikTok shop brushes. They're like the Hourglass dupes. This is the double-ended one, which I really like. Again, always I like a sort of slanted edge. So I just kind of, and you can see it melts into the foundation like a dream. And I think what I like about it as well is it's quite a sort of cool tone. It's not an orange bronze, which I just think on me is a lot more natural, especially, you know, coming down my neck and things, and you know, I can look quite orangey if it's too much an orange bronze, whereas this one is kind of warm but not orangey. It's, does that make any sense? Warm, cool, warm toned bronzer. Not sure if that made sense or not, but and I'm quite, as you can see, I mean, there's no sort of art to the way I do this. I just kind of try and take it under my cheekbones to try and imply I have cheekbones, but trying to keep it not, definitely don't bring it down too low, otherwise your whole face drops off a cliff. And then I did like a bit on the head, just to sort of where the sun would catch you if I'd been in the sun for any point in the last few months, which clearly living in the UK is a strong no. And yeah, so I put that on, and then if I think I have like brought it too far forwards here, which doesn't very natural, I just go back on in my foundation and kind of take it. And again, if I think I've brought it too low on the cheeks, I sort of go back in and kind of just blend in around the edges, make sure it doesn't look too much like I've just painted bronze on the sides of my face, which I have, but you know, no one else needs to know that. Then blusher. I currently am really enjoying Rare Beauty Soft Pinch Luminous Blush, I think it's called, liquid blush. I just have a little mini here because they last for forever, and also if you're not sure on the colour, you know, you get them in Space NK and things, it means you can kind of test out without paying like 30 quid for a full size one. Anyway, this is one I got in one of their Christmas gift sets. This is Virtue. You can also get this in full size. It's not one of the sort of set only. So you literally need like tiny amounts, tiny amounts, because the pigment is feral, and I have definitely at some point, especially with like a more pinky blush, put it on and yeah, I've sort of turned up to events and friends have been like, tone it down, you look crazy. So again, I like to keep this really high on the cheeks, kind of literally almost up into my eyeballs. And I sort of take it round to the temple a bit, don't bring it any further forward on your face than kind of where your pupil is. You don't want it sort of here. Well, I don't anyway, because my whole thing with my blush and bronzer is I want to kind of slim the face and lift it, keep it looking kind of youthful, but slimmer, because there's, you know, your blusher. I mean, blusher hands down in the last few years has gone from being something that I hardly ever wore. Like maybe if I was in fancy dress, I would put some on. To now it's like my non-negotiable. It's almost become as important as mascara and eyebrows, just because I think it really adds definition to the face and freshness and youth and makes you look more awake and everything else. And for those of you who think it's weird, I'll put it on my nose again. I think it's kind of it's like a trick thing. It's like a kind of, it's where if you're looking a little bit sunburnt, and it's where, you know, when you're younger, you quite often have just a little bit of, I just think it, I don't know, for me, I like it. But yeah, blusher placement is really interesting. Not for this video, but like where you put it, you can make yourselves look younger, rounder, thinner, chiseled, you know, whatever. That's probably for a different time. Now I go in with concealer. Now this, doing it the last step of like the wet skin products, it's only something I've started doing in the last few, like really not that long. And I'm really enjoying it. And I think probably because I am someone who quite likes my my blusher and has been known to be quite blush blind with the amounts that I've put on. I find actually putting, I can't remember what makeup artist or whatever I was watching online who did the concealer after the blush and bronze. And I was like, that is amazing, because as you will hopefully see, it kind of helps everything blend in together. And if you have gone a bit OTT on the blusher, again, you can sort of use it to tone it down a bit. So sorry, that concealer, then that's the Kosas Revealer Concealer, which is amazing. I was totally sold on it by someone in Space NK early in the summer. And I bought like a full-size version when I was tan for my holiday. And I just got this to tester because I want to get a cool, because I loved it. It doesn't crease, it doesn't move, it's really moisturizing. And I've just got this little tester one because I wanted to test it for the summer and it for the winter color. And actually I think it's a really good match. So I probably will, when that runs out, buy another full size one. I'm not saying you have to go high end with these things. There are definitely versions of all of these things that I would highly recommend from the high street. Because the Kosas one is probably, as with any kind of mid to high end concealer, it's probably, I don't know, in the late 20s price wise. But it is delightful. I thought I was never going to find a concealer, like a high-end concealer I like more than the Hourglass one, which is still a big winner. But this one actually, I just, yeah, this crease is even less than the Hourglass one, you know, can be a bit creasy if you put powder on too much. This one is just a dream. It just doesn't crease. And it's just a really nice, it's kind of like skincare meets makeup, which I like. So yeah, so that's pretty much what I do. So as you mean, I'm not a full coverage person. I don't like anything that looks like I've got foundation on. Oh my god, I've got a hair on my face, that's annoying me. So all of these I sort of blend out as much as possible to kind of, and as you hopefully saw just in the little amounts I put on, you know, it's just a little bit in the inside corner, a little on the outside just to then have that kind of lift look. Inside obviously kind of where I need it. Now, oh my god, that hair is going to drive me insane. The only other thing I might sometimes do with another sort of favourite concealer, which is the Maybelline, again, I mean, this has been like an OG, such a good all-rounder concealer. Again, if you like a light coverage finish under your eyes, it's such a natural finish. You can put this on without any foundation at all. And you can just blend it in and it will look perfect. So sometimes with this one, I sometimes put this on my eyes. I don't always use the Kosas, especially if I'm not wearing proper base. But I will just put it around here and a bit here, just to kind of, and maybe a little bit here, just to brighten. Because it's less full on than the other one, you know, especially with this bit. This is really just to kind of brighten into the labial, no, Not sure what's a labial fold. That doesn't sound like the right word. Nose crack. I don't know. Yeah, that. Anyway, that's the cream base bit done. Then if I'm feeling a bit extra, sometimes at this point I will spray a sort of a setting spray, just to kind of, or like a fixing spray, just to sort of hold it on a bit. Today, I've not got a full-on day today, so I'm not that bothered. But working in thin layers of fixing sprays I find works. So like I'll put on a thin layer now when it's wet. I will then powder and put eyeshadow on, and then put like a full layer on the top just to hold it all in place. So next is powder. I mean, there's some times when if I'm working from home in the day where I won't powder because it's not going to move, but I try and put makeup on that I don't have to then replace during the day. So for me, powder's a non-negotiable, otherwise it doesn't last during the day. So again, I use different powders. I always, every day, carry around with me in my handbag the Charlotte Tilbury airbrush, what's it called, the airbrush powder, flawless filter powder, which I've been using for years. I've got it in shade 1 for winter and shade 2 for summer. It always looks great. There's a reason every makeup artist who loves it and uses it. You know, it's very good at not looking cakey. You can top it up, you know, I carry it around in my handbag so that if I am starting to look shiny during the day, you know, you can put a bit on with a brush and it doesn't ever sort of build up and look too cakey, but it just brings the shine down, looks really natural. It's delightful. But you know, I am a shopaholic, so I always am wanted to buy other things as well. So, and also because that's always in my handbag, it's not normally where I'm doing my makeup. So at the moment, what I'm really enjoying, which is incredibly bougie, and it is nice, I'm not saying it's the nicest one out there, but I am quite enjoying it at the moment, is the Givenchy, very, very bougie, Prisme Libre pressed powder. I've got it in the number 3 Voile Rose, and sorry, it looks gross, but it's the same kind of 4-color. Their loose powder is amazing. Apparently it's just been reformulated though, so lots of people are saying it's not quite the same, it's now a bit shiny, whereas the pressed powder has not got mica in it, so it doesn't have that sheeny effect. So if you just want kind of the matte look, that's why I went for the pressed rather than the loose. Anyway, so I use this across most of my face. Always very importantly, first of all, just especially if you've let it sit for a while, make sure there's no creases in the concealer under eye. Now the Kosas one actually is pretty good at not creasing like that. But just, yeah, go over it with your brush or your sponge or whatever you're using to get out the crease. Otherwise you're going to set them in place with powder. And then I just go in with a sort of a light, always a bit of a tapping motion, just so you're not smearing the concealer around anywhere. And then, yeah, just a bit on both sides. And sorry, I should say brush wise, this is a Spectrum brush. I think Spectrum brushes are fantastic. Don't look at the state of it. I always need to clean my brushes. It's a constant problem. Yeah, this is the Spectrum A29 brush. It's just a sort of, again, sort of slanted, slightly rounded top. I think it just hugs the under eye really nicely. I basically just, it's very extra. You don't need different brushes to put the powder under your eyes versus the powder across the rest of your face. I just like to try and justify the fact that I have so many brushes. So anyway, on to the rest of the face. I'm just using a normal kind of big fluffy powder brush. I literally don't even know where this is from. I think it might be a Boots Own brand one actually. This there's no name on it, but it's quite nice. Big fluffy one. And I just kind of go in sort of in the powder and then again tap it across the middle of my face, down my nose, upper lip, chin, along kind of the palest part of my cheeks, certainly sort of under the blush and bronzer, the neck, it's really, you know, a bit here. I mean, I don't want to put on too much because, as I say, I do like, and I also go over my eyes just in the socket. I don't want to put on too much powder because, again, I like having quite a glowy look. So, but if I don't put any powder on, it will not stay. It'll slide off my face. Then, and then basically, I mean, I now always, and this is something I didn't used to do probably 2-3 years ago, but now it's just like religious part of my makeup. I will always put on cream products and then I will put powder over the top. So I like cream blush, cream bronze, powder blush, powder bronze. I won't sort of do one or the other, it's always both, because I just think it makes it last longer, it makes the colour, you know, blush is one of the fastest things to come off your face for whatever reason. So cream underneath definitely makes it longer, last longer. But obviously I like the powder on top to kind of emphasise the colour to it. So again, bronzer first I'm doing. This is, you know, your classic, your absolute ride or die bronzer for me. This is NARS Laguna 01. It's pretty matte, it's got a tiny bit of shimmer, it's not the full matte one, which actually is quite intensely matte. And then again, I just kind of do it where I did the bronzer and bring it up into the sides of my forehead. Under the cheekbone, over the top. I'm really not putting much on, and if I think I've got too much, I sort of tap it off on my hand, because otherwise it can look a bit stripy, as I have definitely done in the past, much to my husband's amusement. And he starts making jokes about my wearing wall paint out on nights out. Obviously, you know, use it to come down the neck if, like me, my body is at this time of year ghostly pale and my face is not, because I put makeup on it. So I kind of use the bronzer to bring it down. But yeah, I just kind of make it look a bit bronzy around the edges. Some people do whole nose contour things. I'm not very good at it. I don't really use it. I don't mind my nose too much, but anyway, yeah, that's everything you do. And then blusher, because I'm sort of, this is like my travel to work makeup bag, I literally have like a tester size blusher, which, you know, I have various other ones at home which are more full size. It's a NARS, and it is your absolute classic Orgasm. There's a reason it's popular. It suits, I've never put this on anyone who doesn't really suit it. It's like pink, peachy pink with a slight gold sparkle in it. So it's just really pretty. And it's kind of pigmented without being over the top. So, you know, it's quite easy. You know, it's not some of my blushes, which I love, but you have to be so careful because you put on more than the tiniest little bit and you look like, I don't know what you look like. Someone who doesn't know how to put blusher on, really. So again, I just kind of put it across top of my cheeks. I mean, this one I do like, this NARS one, because it's got this slight gold shimmer. You know, you can almost use it, you know, you don't have to put a highlighter on because it's got that sort of sheen, which I just really like. So yeah, that's, oh, I do look quite rosy now. But trick, if you have put on powder blush, you think you've put on, you know, a bit much, just take, I mean, I'm taking the one I put my powder on with, but a clean, big, fluffy brush, and just kind of lightly go over where you've just done the bronzer and blusher, and it will just take off the excess. And obviously, if you've gone really to town, it might not be able, but 9 times out of 10, if I just do that, I'm like, okay, that's gone back to like a normal level of highlighter, blusher. Now I am going to put a little bit of highlighter on because I like it. Again, this is my travel one. This is just I think I got it in the airport, Bobbi Brown travel size. This is in Pink Glow. Looks like that. So I just, and again, I'm using it with another Spectrum brush. This is the, God, it's all faded off, B38 maybe, and it's like a sort of yeah, tapered, but it's quite fluffy. I just really like it. It's really good for under the eyes as well, this one, but I just kind of save it for my highlighter now. So I just kind of put a little bit there and a little bit there. I try not to pretend I'm like, yeah, I'm not 25 and I can't go out looking like I've got highlighter across everywhere and look amazing, but I definitely think as well on the brow bone, because I've got quite hooded eyes, I want to highlight basically my entire brow bone. I like to highlight just because, yeah, I just kind of, for me, kind of, that's just why I like my face, to lift it. Right, so that is the face portion of my makeup. And then I would definitely run out of time if I was doing this on the train because I'm talking too much. But I then, generally day to day, my eyes are actually my more minimal piece, although anyone who knows me and has known me for a long time, my eyes, if I'm having a night out, are like the main bit I do, and that's where I spend the most of my time, is putting on like eyeshadows, which I will do in other videos. But for day to day, you know, I sort of fill in the eyebrows. You know, my eyebrows are not too bad, they're not very thick, but they're quite a good shape. I don't really do anything to them shaping wise. This is, sorry, I should say I'm using the Benefit Precisely My Brow Pencil. I love this thing. It's just such a fine tip. It just, yeah. God, I'm almost run out. Oh my God, that is the end of it. And I wear it in 3.5, which I think is like light medium brown or something. It doesn't say the color, but it is 3.5. So I just kind of do this. Again, there's not really, ooh, kick the camera. There's not a huge amount of art to how I do this. I just kind of fill in where there's sort of gaps and I want it to be fuller and darker, but without making them look too much like Groucho Marx. Like that, kind of sit back and look at them and think, do I look like Groucho Marx? Maybe a little bit. Always trying to make, I mean, someone once said, a makeup artist once said to me when I was getting it done for when I was a bridesmaid years ago, she was like, because I was like, oh, I can never make them match. And she was like, your eyebrows should always be sisters, not twins. But I do at least try and make them arch to roughly the same level on each side. And if I do go a bit heavy with the pencil, I'll just sort of brush it through to the other end. Brush it through again. I mean, this pencil, I have used other Benefit, you know, they are, I think, the best eyebrow makeup people. They've got so many different options of different eyebrow things. For me, the Precisely My Brow, which is that one, and then this, which has been in my makeup bag and has entirely worn off every single bit of wording it had on it, but this is Gimme Brow, also by Benefit. And this, I think, is the jumbo size, because I go through this stuff all the time. And this, again, I have in shade 3, so I tend to go slightly darker on the pencil, slightly lighter on the, this is like a sort of, I don't know what you call it, brow pomade, I guess. It kind of holds it in place. It does have some colour in it as well. And it's got sort of texturizer in it. So actually, you know, if I'm having a light day, I won't put pencil on, I'll just use this because it kind of adds colour, and it's almost like, I don't know, I feel like it adds hairs, which obviously it doesn't because it's just a tiny little mascara one thing, but, oh, there we go. Straight over the top. But yeah, this just kind of holds it in place. I mean, I'm quite lucky, I suppose. I don't really have really unruly brows that don't stay in place too much. So I find this is enough. Which means when I have tried things like soap brows and laminated brows, I'm like, wow, that looks weird for me. I think just because I'm very used to this. But anyway, yeah, brows, I mean, Jesus. I think, yeah, I've managed to make one much darker than the other. Joyous. Let's just try and brush some of that out so I look less crazy. But yes, then oh, and my camera, my lights have just gone off, which is great, but hopefully you can still see in a much less attractive lighting. See how long these last. I think they're not going to last very long given they are dying. Then just quickly onto eyes. So this is a new find for me and I'm loving it, and I think it's brilliant just for everyday, throw it on. Again, it is really bougie. Again, I will find hopefully dupes at work as well. But at the moment, I hate to say, this might be the best ever cream eyeshadow I have ever used in my entire life. So I'm gonna go up the lights. So I'm sorry, you're gonna have a weird light for the rest of it. This is, again, Givenchy. It is the eye tint. Now this color is in 22M. I think it's called Cashew. it just, so it's in a sort of pear-shaped dofer, quite flat. So you can use the flat side, obviously, like just put colour all over. You can also just use the edge literally as an eyeliner. Now, the reason I normally hate cream eyeshadow is because it just doesn't, normally every other one I've ever used, once people rave about, like the Laura Mercier Caviar eye sticks, everything, they just crease too buggery and they stay on for about an hour and then they're just sitting in creases on my eyes, which is not attractive and not doing what they want to do. This thing though doesn't move. I promise you. I probably won't today because I know I've got a busy afternoon, but if I could do a wear test and show you actually how little it moves, it's amazing. So did you see how easy that was? You know, I literally painted it on and then I'm just using a really bog standard, sort of slightly fluffy eyeshadow brush, rounded, just to kind of blend the edge out so it's not sort of a harsh line. I do have this in other colours. I've got it in quite a violent claret colour. You have to be a bit more careful with that in terms of placement, because if you put on too much and then try and just casually blur it out, you end up with purple up to your eyebrows. This one is a bit more forgiving because it's, you know, it's a brown and it's an entirely matte shade. So yeah, I just paint all over my lid like that, so up to the crease. Maybe a little bit, you know, like that, and then just go back in with the brush and just sort of fluff the edges really, just so it kind of, yeah, doesn't look too unnatural. And then kind of come back, and because I've got hooded lids, I have to go above the crease, because if I just go into the crease, you won't see anything, because when I open my eyes fully, this lovely thing just hangs over the top. So I just want to go a bit further above. So that's a good amount, and that will, I promise you, it doesn't crease, it doesn't move, or at least it certainly doesn't crease for at least like 8 hours, which, you know, yeah, if I've been on a rager all day and it's, by the end, of course it is increases, but it's still there. So sometimes I'll just leave it like this and just as is. Sometimes though, if I want to just add a bit more dimension, because it is just a very, you know, it's a very natural plain brown, I will go in with a bit of eyeshadow over the top. And again, I find it works as a really good eyeshadow base because it doesn't crease. I feel like any colour you put on top also stays longer than you know, a normal eyeshadow would. So I find it's almost like an excellent, one of the best eyeshadow primers as well, which I mean, it's expensive for that, but to be fair, I got that on Black Friday sale on Boots. Love Boots for premium beauty because I also get points on it. Brilliant. So I got them for like 23 quid. I think they retail for about 27, 28 normally. Anyway, so I'm just gonna put a bit of eyeshadow on just for why not. My day-to-day look for work is generally quite sort of bronzy, browny colours. As a blue-eyed person, I think someone told me years ago that's the best colours. I do like other colours too, but for day-to-day, I find this is the most not in your face. This is just an ancient old Charlotte Tilbury one. I have a long-standing love affair for Charlotte Tilbury. And I dread to think how much money that she's extracted from my pocket. But this is the Easy Eye Palette for the Charlotte Darling look. As you can see, it's very worn off. It's also very, I mean, I've very rarely been able to do the 10 pan challenge. This would be one I would get to this year, because as you can see, I'm pretty much, yeah, running out of them. So you basically get 3 matte shades, 3 shimmery shades, and clearly you can tell I'm a shimmery eye person because they're the ones that are all run out and the mattes are still matting. But the matte ones are actually really nice over the cream eyeshadow, or any cream eyeshadow. So again, I'm just going in with the darkest brown one here, which is kind of a soft, warm brown. And then I'm just using that kind of, again, in the crease, just to kind of give my eye that little bit more depth and definition. So this is a Real Techniques standard sort of eye brush. I don't know what the number is because, again, it's all worn off. Just calls it the base shadow brush. I always have Real Techniques brush on the go. I think they are hands down the best affordable makeup brush brand. You know, they don't shed, they last really well. They come in a good variety of shapes. They clean well. Yeah. So I'll just put a bit of the darker brown in the shadow. Sorry, with my lights no longer working, this is probably looking quite dark to you. I will at the end walk nearer to the window to get the daylight on it properly. So yeah, so I just go back and forth with a sort of, as I say, because I've got shadowed eyes, I'm trying to go slightly above the crease without making it look too full on for work. Back and forth, back and forth. Again, the shadow, I mean, Charlotte Tilbury does have great pigment shadows. So, and then I might just go in with a little bit, probably of the dark brown, maybe the dark brown, maybe a little bit of the sort of the reddy brown next to it, just on the very outer edge of my eye, just to kind of bring some depth in there. Leave the middle and the inner sort of not shadowed, because I want to sort of make my eye look more open rather than not. I mean, this is quite a smoky look. I suppose that's just who I am. For me, this is a light look. For other people, this would be like full on night out look. This is my work look. We move. If I'm going night out, it's bigger and sparklier. And then just to add some definition, or some sort of, not definition, kind of different colour into the middle. So I've just got I'm looking in the eyeshadow mirror down here. I'm just going to put a little bit of the actually the darkest bronzy colour, because I've got a dark, if I didn't have such a dark cream eyeshadow on, I'd probably go for one of the lighter ones, but I quite like the sort of the slightly darker reddy shimmer just in the middle. Just really just kind of, I'm literally just putting it in the centre of my eyeball, just so it kind of differentiates from the outer corner, really. You can see that. You know, and I, you know, some days I'm feeling on it, I'll put some of the lighter, one of the lighter two sort of sparkly shades into the inner corner, but I'm not going to today. I'm just going to leave it as it is. I may do, again, this is something I do every day. So on the other end of my fluffy brush, I actually have a smaller, again, just any kind of small, round, slightly fluffy. I might just go into the sort of medium matte shade, just a tiny bit, tiny bit, and then just go under just a tad, just to kind of define, but really smoke it out. I don't want to go too dark or too nuts with this. So it's just to kind of add a little. And also I found, I don't know if anyone else has this, when I put stuff under my eyes, it lasts for all of about an hour. I don't know if I'm just an unnoticing kind of eye rubber, and I just kind of get rid of it by accident, but yeah, under eye stuff never works, but for the purposes of this, let's put it on. So that's kind of what I do with that. And then probably thinking, how's there anything else to go on just for a random day at work? But I do tend to always go in for an eyeliner because I like it. So I'm trying to think what my normal eyeliner is. This is one I've actually been using pretty much non-stop all year. It's made by Mitchell brand. For anyone who watches TikTok, you probably have seen this everywhere. For anyone else, you can buy it on Beauty Bay. You can buy it in some Boots as well now. You buy it on ASOS. This is his Graph Ink liner, even, not lighter. And this is in the shade Brownie Points, which is like, I don't know if you can tell, it's like a very, very dark brown, like blacky brown. And this thing, I mean, I have only ever used one liquid eyeliner my entire life, which was the Rimmel Exaggerite Eyes eyeliner in black. And I've used that since I was literally started wearing makeup when I was about, you know, regularly, kind of 15, 16. And I would go to town with black eyeliner. I was going through my sort of slightly goth phase. But I think they've changed the formula and it's nowhere near as good as it used to be. And it just doesn't stay. Whereas this one, woo! That's what happens when you kick the foot of your light. This one just doesn't move, and it has such a gorgeous, super fine point that you can get right into your lashes, not smudge all over the place. It's like a sort of almost like a very long felt tip point. It's not a brush point, because brush points I find harder to coat with, because if you press too hard they kind of out, whereas felt tip points don't, obviously. So yeah, and I mean, I always have an issue where I cannot get my points even on my eyes. Case in point today, one is definitely thicker and higher than the other, but we move. So yeah, so as you can see, that one looks shit and this one looks shitter. But I also know that because my eyes are shadowed and everything else, you're not going to see. And I promise I will. Well, I've been promising I'm going to get better at doing winged eyeliner for about 20 years now, and it still hasn't happened. So I would say do as I say, not as I do when it comes to how you do your liners. I'm just an animal when it comes to it. I kind of smudge it on, and if I don't like it, I just put more pencil over the top to sort of smudge it out so you can't tell how shitty I've done it. Like that. Oh, let's just put it along and just sod it. Yeah, that's that. Slightly chaotic. No, and I've just done what I often do, which is blink it off. This is why I like a smudgy eye, because, you know, if you fuck it up, you can just smudge it out. Anyway, sorry. Final step, almost. Because obviously we still have mascara to do, which is, you know, the most important step, I think, personally for me. But in an effort to not have my mascara smudged over my face, I tend to try and do my setting spray before I do my mascara. So this is I am so late to the game with this because I literally only tried it for the first time, probably started this year, and I quite liked it, which is the, you know, the classic Urban Decay All-Nighter long-lasting makeup setting spray. When it turned from like, oh, this is quite nice, but is it better than any of the other ones I've ever tried, to, oh no, this is hands down my favorite thing, is when I was in Malta earlier this year and I got this tester one, which is the Ultra Matte. And not that I'm a big makeup wearer on holiday anyway, especially on a hot holiday, because it's sweaty. But, you know, I was going out, so I did want to look relatively nice. And I put on the Ultra Matte thinking, well, we'll see. It worked. It worked in 38-degree heat. And so since I got back to England, I've carried on buying it. This is the one I carry around me. I've got a full-size one on my dressing table upstairs. And I just think it's not Ultra Matte, if you know what I mean, in terms of, hang on, I'm just going to spray it, so I'm going to stop talking, otherwise it tastes disgusting. I kind of soak my face in it, really. It's not Ultra Matte in that, you know, you will not look ultra matte, but as someone who likes a really glowy base, it kind of brings down the shine a bit, which is quite handy. But it just lasts, and I swear, you know, I do think sometimes, is it a placebo effect? I think it's going to be like that because I know I've sprayed it, but I swear my face is less shiny for longer when I've got this on. And I have to sort of repowder more during the day. Whereas I would say now with this, if I'm putting this on in the morning, you know, I might sort of touch up a little bit of powder maybe at lunchtime. And then if I go out in the evening, you know, but other than that, it's fine. Whereas, you know, before there were certain days where certainly I would be like, every time I looked in the mirror, I'd be like, yep, nope, need to put some powder on my nose, it's looking shiny. So anyway, that was that. So yeah, that's my biggest revelation of, there's reasons that some of these products which have been popular for so long are that popular. Anyway, very last step, mascara. I tend to use either brown or black. Sorry if you heard the dog barking just then. I think there's one at the door. Maybelline, or Maybelline if I'm being normal, YSL if I'm being bougie. Best two mascaras for me, personally, for my eyes, that I've ever used. At the moment, I'm on a real kick of Maybelline Sky High. It's normally Maybelline Surreal Falsies, but they've just pulled out the Sky High, or at least I've only just seen it come out in brown. So this one is called True Brown. And I just love it. And it looks good, it works well, it lasts. I don't get panda eyes by 4 o'clock, which some really high-end as well as some really cheap mascaras I get all the time. Maybelline ones I don't, especially not this one. It's got a really nice rubber brush, very small bristles, so you can really get down into the roots. And kind of, I'm a wiggle mascara applicator person. So I know some people are more of a sort of blink onto it. Which is actually how I started, I think, because my mum is a blink onto it. So when I used to learn watching her, that's how I would watch her doing it. Whereas as I've got older and learned my own things, I'm more of a wiggle on person. So yeah, I just kind of go over and over, paying the most attention to the outer edge, kind of pulling it out and up a bit. I'm not blessed with particularly great eyelashes, sadly. You know, I've got, they're not particularly long, they're not particularly thick, and they are not particularly curly. In fact, this is my left eye. As one of my friends who's a beautician was once doing she was doing an LVL lash lift thing, she was like, your eyelashes actually grow downwards on this eye, which is, yeah, delightful. So yes, 0 curl, 0 volume, 0 length. So a good mascara for me is an absolute non-negotiable. And I like this one, and also because it's quite a fine point, I can go quite close into the inside corner. And then, yeah, and then I kind of look and see, do they look like they're vaguely the same? And then sometimes, not every day, I used to do every day, but I'll do the bottom lashes. Depends what my vibe is, really. Some days I'll leave it quite clean on the bottom. Today I'm feeling like making it look smoky because I've got eyeliner everywhere. So yeah, that is that. And then I would finish it, which I don't have to hand, so I can't do it right now. I tend to wear a sort of a nude lip or lip gloss for work. Anyway, I am now though going to just move towards the light, given we've had to do it without a light for the last while, so you can sort of see what it looks like in natural daylight. There we go. Chaotic face. One eyebrow definitely darker and thicker than the other, but that's my sort of standard brown everyday face, and it's taken twice as long as it would do if I wasn't talking through it and dropping stuff. Anyway, hope it was vaguely useful. Any questions or anything else, let me know, and see you next time. Bye.